Hello everyone, this is Rhoda and welcome to Tantric Vibes. In this episode, I am going to be talking about prana, and I will be delving into exactly what it is and just how you can work with it. You know, how you can increase and expand prana to create more vitality and more energy in the body. And just so you know, before I start really diving into this, prana really has to be one of just my favorite absolute things to talk about. I love talking about prana. I love thinking about prana. I don't think we talk about it, nor do we think about it as much. I don't think we pay it as much attention as we should be. I think we're not paying it enough attention. I think we are not really being conscious of it. And when we are conscious of prana, that's when it has that ability to move better, to flow more freely through the body, to create more energy, more vitality, right, in the body. Because prana is all encompassing. Everything in this universe contains prana. And once you start understanding this and really deeply knowing this, it just becomes something that you can't unsee, right? You start to understand and experience yourself as deeply connected with everything and everyone around you. So, what prana is life force. In ancient Sanskrit, prana literally translates to life force or vital energy or just energy. And nothing at all can exist without prana. And yogis from several thousand years ago studied this. You know, they studied the science of prana, right? The way it moves and why it moves. And our world is in a constant state of vibration, right? It's never stagnant. It is always moving. It is always flowing. And that force, right? That flow, that vibration, that is prana. That is the energy that pervades everything in not only our universe, but within our bodies. Prana is alive in every cell of your body. And not only that, but you could see it at work. You can see it on display in nature. You know, it's that movement, right, of a rushing waterfall. Prana is also the wind. Prana is what makes the trees and the flowers and the plants grow. It's really what animates your being. It is what is inside of every human, every animal, every rock, every substance. The universe would simply not exist without prana powering it. And you know that term, how they say good vibes or, you know, high vibrating energy, the whole good vibes only thing. Well, when we're talking about that, you know, that vibrating energy, those good vibes, we're essentially just talking about prana, right? To raise one's vibration is really about raising one's prana, because that is your prana. Your prana is your natural vibration. And prana is also the same thing as what they refer to in Chinese medicine as qi. It's the exact same thing. So when you're getting acupuncture, that is what they're working on, right? Your energy channels, your meridians in your body, trying to open up those channels and allow that qi or that prana to flow easily. It's also what's at work when practicing things like Tai Chi, right? Or martial arts. Just that is what is being used. That is the force that is being tapped into. And that is just why I love it so much. I love that there are different practices and there are different ways of really accessing that prana, right? Of really tapping into it and increasing it in the body. And this prana that you contain, that all of us contain, it is informed by so many different things. And we actually have the power to generate more prana, to raise our life force energy, to really shape ourselves mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And, there are different levels of prana, right? All of us, depending upon our life experiences, the thoughts that we think, the types of things we do each day, all of us have different levels of prana, all of us. And when your life force, when your prana is lower in the body, okay, maybe it's lower than maybe the average person's, or it's just kind of low vibrating in general, that can indicate many different things about the kinds of food that you're eating, the kinds of thoughts that you're thinking, and even the kind of air that you're breathing. I just think the whole process of really understanding prana and truly knowing the value, right, of being conscious with it and of working with it, I truly feel like it can just set you up on the foundation for just deeper sense of well-being, of purpose, of pleasure, right, of joy, of peace. It's essential. It's essential, and not enough of us are thinking about prana. And I wanted to talk about a little bit about how prana moves through the body. And I mentioned this just a little while ago when I talked about those energy channels in the body. There are energy meridians throughout the body, and they, hopefully, within us, those channels are clear and those channels are open, and they allow that prana or that chi, that energy, to be able to flow freely through them. And along with all of these energy channels in the body, and according to, there are different places, like different ancient texts, right? Like ancient yogic texts. A few of them say different things about how many channels there are in the body. In these texts, they're referred to as nadis, which is Nadis. They're called nadis, these channels. And I know that, it's often referred to as that we have 72,000 of these channels, but I believe that there are even some texts that say that it's higher than that. I don't know how they came up with that number, but it's a lot. There are a lot of channels of energy in the body. When you start working with your prana, you will be able to actually feel this, right? You'll be able to actually feel that prana, that energy running through these channels. And there are also what's called chakras in the body. And these are 7 major energy centers that run, down from the base of the spine and up to the crown at the top of the head. And these chakras are places where they're major energy centers, right? So they act as like containers, right, for a lot of prana. And in these places, they are storing high amounts of prana inside of them. And so, working with those energy channels, working with the chakras is very key to allowing that prana to flow freely, to think about. The seat of prana is actually located in the heart chakra. And right at the heart, or near the heart, right at the center of the chest, we carry this heart chakra. And in this area, we have the highest amount of electromagnetic frequency. That is the heart, right? It is alive. It is full of energy. It is full of electricity. It is full of power, even more so than our brains. And this is something that has actually been studied and measured. We vibrate higher here than at any part of the body. So it makes sense that there is a huge amount of prana here just waiting to be tapped. And that is why I really love, in the practices that I do and in the practices that I teach, I really love working with the energy of the heart. And I always tell people, students of mine, or people, that I've spoken to about this stuff, I always tell them that if you really want to, you're starting this kind of practice for the first time, you're starting to really dive into what prana is and what kundalini energy is, all of those things, energy, meridians and channels and chakras. You're really starting to understand that. A lot of the times I say that the heart chakra is your place to start, right? It is number one. It is, I feel, just the place where we carry so much because of just past experiences of, maybe grief or rejection or sadness or anything like that. Any kind of unbalanced emotions, any feelings that have been left stagnant in the body or not dealt with, not processed. I mean, we carry a lot of things there in the heart chakra. A lot of us wear armor in that space, right? We unconsciously hold armor in that space because maybe we've been hurt so many times or we've been disappointed so many times, and we just can't bear another one. We can't bear another rejection. We can't bear another failure. We can't bear another disappointment. And so we build this armor up around our heart. And this makes it very challenging for the free flow of our vibrancy, our prana, to move through, right? It wants to be able to move, right? It wants to be in motion. And I think working with the heart chakra is just number one. It's really key to accessing those deeper energies that you carry within. It's key to really getting that prana alive and vibrant. And so, yeah, I just want to say that is key. Just working with the heart space, feeling into the heart, right? Using the heart as kind of your launch pad toward going deeper into other areas in your body. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about, how I guess I want to go into how do you really know if your prana or your life force energy is high, right? How do you know that it's present and flowing in the body? And this, my answer, I guess, to this is that you just know, you feel it. Prana is a subtle energy in the body, and it is highly palpable. When it's flowing and it's high vibrating, you can feel it. It's almost like this electricity that is flowing through you. And when that happens, the different parts of you fall into balance. Your physical, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, all of that comes into alignment. All of that comes into harmony. And all of that is prana, right? Prana has the power to make that happen. And a lot of times how we get caught in these ruts, and then our mind just kind of goes off, like we can't control it, right? Like there's just all of this chatter and all of this nonsense. There's this stuff that we're caught up with that we just can't let go of, and we just keep cycling through our minds, cycling through the same thoughts again and again. And maybe something detrimental happened in a relationship, and you just keep playing it over and over in your mind. And you can't forgive this person, or you can't forgive yourself, and it's just this ongoing thing. And that's normal, right? That's something that happens to a lot of us because the mind can be tricky. We can have the best of intentions of wanting to control the mind, of wanting to stop thinking or cycling through negative thoughts about ourselves and others, and we can have all that, but then we can still end up falling short. We just can't seem to rein it in. And that comes with the territory. It comes with the territory of having minds and being human, right? But prana works a little differently. Prana is not like the mind. Prana is something that you can really consciously work with, and you can really control. And it's something that you can enhance, right? It's something you can nurture and cultivate. And by controlling the prana, you can automatically control the mind. You can tame the mind almost effortlessly just by surrendering to your vital life force. And that's just one of the most amazing things about prana, I think, just tapping into it and being able to really heal the mind. So now I just want to talk a little bit about how you activate prana exactly. How do you nurture it? How do you even start to form that relationship to where you understand and you feel that prana? So something that ancient yogis have known for thousands of years is the power of pranayama. And pranayama is basically breathing techniques that are used to activate and harness prana in the body. And something that I believe deeply and that I say a lot is that the quality of your life is dependent upon the quality of the breaths that you take, right? If you take shallow and choppy breaths, your life will come out that way. Your emotions might be out of balance. You won't feel as grounded and as secure. But instead, if you take deeper breaths that reach all the way down into you, you have a deeper experience of life, right? You're able to access deeper parts of the self. And breathing deeply is going to provide more oxygen to your cells, which is going to amplify your prana. So before you even start kind of diving and exploring, the world of pranayama and mastering, these ancient yogic breathing techniques, I feel it's really important to just start with some basic deep breathing. Research has shown that for a greater sense of well-being and health and vitality, that we should be inhaling for a total of 5.5 seconds, and then exhaling also for a total of 5.5 seconds. And this comes to just about 6 breaths per minute. And it's something also that James Nestor goes into in his book, Breath, which I think is a really fascinating book if you haven't read it. So, when you're breathing this way, when you're taking your time, right? When you're taking deeper breaths, you're going slower, you're healing the body. You're restoring the body. You're cleansing the nervous system. You're bringing in more calmness, more peace. You're helping to really stabilize, to balance your emotions, and to boost your mood. So one of the biggest things I really encourage you in terms of starting to understand your inner energy, your prana, is to really start with that 5.5 second inhale and the 5.5 second exhale. Build that foundation within yourself, and you'll start nourishing your body and your cells with prana. And being in nature is another one, that also increases prana. Where there is nature, there is prana. Especially if you're deep in nature, like in a forest or in the ocean or on top of a mountain or something like that. Just get out in nature whenever you can and just breathe in that prana. Take that 5.5 second inhale and then that 5.5 second exhale and just drink that prana into the lungs. This is why we always feel so much better when we're away from all our devices and we're out in nature. When we're on our phones or we're watching TV all day, that actually lowers our prana, right? It lowers our life force. But when you're surrounded by nature, you're raising that prana, you're raising your vibration. Another thing is words, right? Words that are high vibrating. That also raises prana. That's why doing positive affirmations feels so good. That's why expressing our love for someone else feels so good, because it's overflowing with prana. When we use words that, aren't so good, that disempower us, that make us feel fearful or weak, then we're dulling our prana. So nurture good thoughts, okay? Use words that empower yourself, that empower others. And also, another thing too is to move your body. Motion helps to build and to harness more prana. And when we move, we're clearing out our energy channels inside. We're allowing them to be more clear and to more easily transport that prana through the body. So anything like stretching, walking, running, jumping on a trampoline, all of this is going to help with prana. And when you do these things, don't just go through the motions, right? You want to really do them. You want to really be present to the experience. You want to feel your body Like when you're moving, start feeling your body from the inside. Notice what is happening. Notice those subtle shifts of energy. Notice all of that movement. Because when you first start working with prana, there will be those subtle shifts, right? Those subtle movements in the body. And these are things that usually we go throughout the day. We won't even really be aware. We won't pay attention. We won't notice these things. But if you really want to start working with your prana, activating your prana, you got to start noticing the subtle things that are happening in the body. And know that what you give your attention to, what you start paying attention to, however small it is, that it'll start to expand, right? Just simply by you placing your attention on it. Your attention and your energy and your focus will really help to fuel prana. See, the thing today is that many of us are just not aware of our prana, right? We don't really look at it as something to consciously work toward in general. We focus on those things that are on the exterior, or the things that, people see. That's kind of what we are fixated on. And we focus on working out, and we focus on keeping our bodies fit and healthy. We devote a lot of time to our outward appearance, which is great, but sometimes we do this and we just forget, right? We forget about what's inside. We forget about the inner world, about what is unseen. We don't think about our prana, when it is our prana, right, that informs everything, that makes up who we are, and that really allows us to be fully expressed. It's prana that helps us to develop a deeper connection to self, to understanding and untangling all of the thoughts and feelings, emotions, and memories that we carry within. And if you are listening to this right now, if you made it this far, just know that it's time, right? If you made it this far and you're listening, I just want to say that it is time to make prana a priority. It is time to nurture and cultivate your vital life force, your prana. And as you're doing this, know that your prana doesn't just exist there in your body. It can also move beyond you. You can also use your own prana to amplify the prana of everything and everyone around you. Because prana has the ability to move through intention. So you can actually raise another person's prana. You can raise their vibrations simply through your intention. And something that I really encourage you to do is, before you go out somewhere, just take a few moments to sit and breathe deeply. You can bring in that 5.5 second inhale and 5.5 second exhale, and really just connect to yourself and really just get centered, right? Get centered, aligned to your prana. And then once you've done this, really it just needs about 2 or 3 minutes of this. But once you've done this, go out there and look at all the people around you. And as you see each one, or as you pass each one, just silently send them love. And just feel that feeling of love coming up from your heart and out through your eyes. Shine that love upon each and every person that you see. Just set that intention. And as you do this, have no expectations. Don't worry about what you're going to get out of it. Just shine love without having to announce it to the world, right? Without having to use words, without having to broadcast it on social media. Just radiate love. And you'll find that doing this will raise the prana inside of you. It'll raise that feeling. It'll raise that good vibration, that energy. And not only that, of course, but it will raise that feeling in the other people around you. It will also raise the prana of the environment that you're in, right? Because remember, everything contains prana. Everything that we see here in this world contains prana. So when you're setting that, when you're beaming, those good feelings out, that love out, you're filling up the space with that too. And doing this, right? Doing this kind of practice is really just a simple way of stepping up, right? Of stepping up of owning your energy, owning that energy, that life force that you carried within, and using it to make an impact on the world and on those around you. So in the beginning, I'm about to go here. I'm about to end things. And I just want to say though, before I go, that, if you're just starting on this journey, in the beginning, you might not really feel the prana, and that's okay. The more and more that you breathe deeply, the more that you focus and that you pay attention to what's happening within, just the sooner you'll start to feel it. And as I go deeper in future episodes, I'm going to talk about so many things, but in regards to prana, I'm going to also talk about the different types of prana and how to specifically work with each one. Talk about your aura and like how that's informed, how energy really flows through the body, and what you can really do to start being more awake, right, to the magic of what you are. And I'm excited. I'm excited about really going into it. And I just kind of wanted to use this episode as just a, just kind of like a starting point, right, for talking about prana and the importance of it and the value of it. And I really hope that maybe something in this episode sparked you and sparked your interest into being more conscious of prana and working with your own prana, because it is a beautiful thing. It's one of the gifts, right, of being alive, of having these bodies, of being in the world. And yes, I really hope that you enjoyed listening to this. And I just really want to end this episode by saying that if you're not subscribed to my Patreon, please subscribe, because I share extra content there. This week, I share a meditation practice for amplifying your prana, and it's amazing. So honestly, please sign up. You can go to patreon.com and look up Rhoda Jordan Shapiro, and you will find me. And yeah, I really hope you sign up. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.